Hey guys, and welcome to Pirate Hunter Traffy. On May 21, 2023 was the official release date for One Piece Chapter 1084. Even though the standard summary of spoilers came out a few days ago, the first leaks were already out, and based on those, it looks like the series will keep on focusing on Sabo's flashbacks about what happened in the most recent troubled Reverie. But also based on the hints, One Piece 1084 will give us more information about how Cobra died. Also, the show's most mysterious character, will finally be shown, which will lead to more shocking events. Want to find out more? Stay tuned so as not to miss a detail. Now that we have the 1084 spoilers, the huge buzz about what was going on at the Reverie and what we know about it is still going on here. And just to be clear, the final boss is about to show up. You know, the leader of the Gorosei, slashes the world government, the ghost leader who sits on the empty throne. They show up at the end of this chapter, and what's even crazier is that they can actually talk. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Before I say anything about the spoilers, let me quickly go over what happened at the end of the last chapter, because it directly connects to what happened at the start of this one. After Sabo was done talking to Dragon and Ivankov, there was a flashback to the Reverie 1 month earlier, where the commanders were fighting. Karasu and Morley mostly took on Ryokyugyu and Fujitora, but while they were fighting, Karasu asked Sabo through his radio, "Hey, Sabo, have you found Kuma's collar yet?" Kuma was still in jail at this point. Sabo responds that Kuma has been moved to Pangaea Castle. In the scene, we also see Saint Rosewald and his son Charles. Charles said, "She will be mine," referring to Shirahoshi, even though he had been hit a lot. He was still chasing after her. Then we cut to the family of Nefertari, where we see Vivi with Lucci, telling him, "Hey, I'm here to protect you." And Vivi says, "No, it doesn't seem like that." When Cobra approaches the Gorosei, they tell him only King Cobras are allowed to talk to the 5 elders. This means that Shaka and Pell have to stay behind. At the end of the chapter, Cobra said, "This won't take long, but I don't want you to wait around and get bored. Instead, go watch over Vivi. I can't help but worry about my tomboy girl." Then the chapter starts from here. The Gorosei and Cobra talk about Queen Lily of Arabasta. She was one of the 20 people who started the world government but didn't want to turn into a celestial dragon. After leaving the country, Queen Lily was not seen again. The Gorosei are asked by Cobra where she went, but they don't know. Okay, this is the start of a lot of speculation, but let's finish this spoiler first because what happens to at the end will have something to do with them. So, Saint Charlos takes Shirahoshi, but Sai and Leo beat him and save Shirahoshi. Okay, as we discussed in the last chapter, Charlos went after Shirahoshi again, and it looks like he caught her. But Sai and Leo are boys from Dressrosa, and the Straw Hat Grand Fleet beats him. So they're just attacking Charlos and knocking him out, which is a death sentence because this is what they were talking about in chapter 1054, which we've talked about a lot because that's the first time the Holy Knights were named. Because Kizaru was like, "Can we assume that the attempted murder of Saint Charlos will solve them?" Akainu says, "The accusation that Saint Musgard Guard let the attacker get away is being discussed in the land of the gods. The Holy Knights have stepped in, and now everything is a mess. Let them find a way." So that's kind of a surprise too, because Musgard, the person who stopped Charlos from taking Shirahoshi in the first place, let Sai and Leo get away here. But as I said, this is such a big deal that the Holy Knights, the guys we were talking about last week, and maybe Shanks or one of Shanks' family members or something like that, are getting involved. Even if they don't kill Musgard outright, they will go after Sai and Leo and might soon die here. Someone needs to beat them quickly so we can see how strong the Holy Knight is. And besides Cobra, I think they'd be good choices for characters to die for once in this story. But anyway, Morley frees Kuma, and we already know that Kuma was freed from Mary Geoise by the rebels and went back to the Kamabaka Queendom. But then we saw that he had some kind of, Manchurian candidate thing turning him on, and he went back to Mary Geoise. He started going up the red line, which is still a mystery. But anyway, here's the big moment. Im shows up and talks to Cobra at the end of the chapter, and Im says, Lily, and there's a week off coming up, but it's clear that Im saying Lily is about what was talked about before. So, we now know that Queen Lily was the ruler of Arabasta a long time ago, around 800 years ago. She was also one of the 20 people who started the world government. So, this took place after the so-called Great War of the Void Century. So when that war was over, these 20 people got together and made the world government. But that's also how the celestial dragons came to be. Lily didn't want to be one, and so she left the country and was never seen again. This could mean many different things. Lily was killed, of course, because she didn't want to turn into a celestial dragon. So if you don't want to be with us, you just have to die, right? Or she made Amazon Lily after she lived, because that was the first thing I thought of when I saw the word Lily. That was the only other time this word was used in One Piece, right? Amazon Lily? And she is a woman, and she was a queen, so that makes sense, right? So in theory, that could also mean that most Amazon lilies are actually Alabastians, even though I don't know where the name Amazon Lily came from. Then when did she go? She didn't want to be a celestial dragon because... I guess she didn't want to turn into a maniac who only cared about having fun? That's not hard at all. She saw how they treated everyone, and I'm sure it had something to do with what was going on at the end of the Great War, or how the Great War finished. Now, another reason that is probably pretty common is that Im was forcing Lily to be his wife because he loved her. I think it's a great idea for Queen Lily of Alabasta to make Amazon Lily. Then this could be the whole trickle-down thing, which we will talk about in a later episode. Most likely, the D's are directly connected to the woman of Amazon Lily. Because, well, I guess there's a big idea now. In Amazon Lily, the line of empresses is like Gloriosas. Then we found out that Shaky, whose real name is Shakuyaku, came after her. And then there's a link that's missing. After her, there was Hancock, who is still alive. Gloriosa has talked about the lost link in the past. Hancock gets love sickness because of Luffy, and she tells him, you know, the last empress died of the same disease, and the empress before her had the same sickness. I got the same disease and had to leave the country, but I lived. And what Gloriosa says there is pretty interesting. Maybe that has something to do with Queen Lily. Maybe she was crazy about Joy Boy, and that's why Im did something to her or made her do something against her will. Because Im liked Joy Boy, which is something else I've been guessing about. But anyway, this empress is meant to be Luffy's mother, and her love sickness was, of course, for Dragon. And it's a lot like how Hancock fell in love with Luffy, as we've already talked about. Oda likes to tell the same story over and over again until we figure out what it's really about, which will happen in the last arc. So, as has been made clear over and over again, Luffy is Joy Boy's reincarnation, carrying on the D tradition. So, if that's true, it would mean that everything started when Lily fell in love with Joy Boy. She may have left because Im killed Joy Boy or did whatever else happened to him, which, like I said, probably has something to do with a love triangle between Im, Lily, and Joy Boy. And then all of that is supposed to lead to Hancock falling in love with Luffy. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Gloriosa is talking about Garp when she says she got sick with love and had to leave because of it. But anyway, that's all I have to say right now. Enjoy the whole chapter now that it is out, and I just might make a video about it if you guys want, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do that. Also, tell me in the comments what you think about all of this. If you liked the video, please click the like button and share. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one.